Right, 20 July 2024, and today I'm going to be giving you quite a bit of stories to look at. There is a lot of trending stories and a lot that has been happening around us. So I want to make sure that we are up to date and we catch up because I've been traveling, so I missed quite a number of stories this week. So welcome to everybody, and let me take you through the most important stories. And this is not the funny stories that we've been seeing about Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknell Chivayo is set to make a lot of money, and most people do not understand what is going on. There is a massive change taking place in Zimbabwe, and Wicknell right now is being positioned to make massive amounts of money by Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa is orchestrating this together with his family. This is basically Mnangagwa's retirement plan, what he's doing with Wicknell Chivayo. So this week, what has happened is that POTRAZ, the postal regulator and communications regulator in Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, is finally granted Wicknell Chivayo with a license. So Wicknell Chivayo, who I'm going to display here, let's display Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknell Chivayo is a Zimbabwean businessman, and he has been granted what is called an ISP license, or an Internet Services Provider license. And this is strange because before he even got this ISP license, he had already been granted a partnership with Starlink. So Wicknell is now officially running an ISP in Zimbabwe, and this is going to be the biggest ISP because it's going to be partnering with Starlink. The license was granted last week, and this is the first official step for Elon Musk's company, Starlink, to work with Zimbabwe through this company called IMC Communications, which is owned by Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknell Chivayo has reportedly paid $575,000 for this license, and Starlink has also paid their license fee. So now we have an ISP, and we have Wicknell Chivayo running IMC Communications, which is now formally an ISP in Zimbabwe. This is very new, and this company has got no track record in the communications industry of Zimbabwe. So this is very new development, and Wicknell Chivayo is going to make a lot of money from the deal with Starlink. You are talking here of millions and millions of dollars a month through this agreement with Starlink, and this has been licensed through POTRAZ, and the announcement was made this week. The confirmation of this was made by the Director General of POTRAZ, Mr. Gift Muchengete, that IMC Communication has now been granted a license, an ISP license, and they can now operate as an independent ISP. Otherwise, they would have had to operate through an existing ISP. This is moving very fast for Wicknell Chivayo, and obviously that is because of his connections to Mnangagwa. So let's watch and see what is going to happen. We obviously welcome fast internet, but this is a totally corrupt deal with Mnangagwa and Wicknell Chivayo. I want to quickly run through other stories, and I want to run through what's happening in the banking sector. The banking sector of Zimbabwe is facing collapse due to the lack of business. So there's no business in the banking sector of Zimbabwe. There's no profitability due to the completely depressed market conditions in Zimbabwe. And currently, there has been an announcement by Steward Bank that they're going to be retrenching staff. Ecocash has also been bought by Econet. So Econet has taken over all the businesses of Ecocash, and therefore under Ecocash Holdings, the only bank remaining there, or the only bank or asset remaining under Ecocash Holdings, is Steward Bank. There is massive problems in the banking sector of Zimbabwe after the coming in of the ZIG, because the ZIG is not moving. There's nothing moving with the ZIG. That thing is dead. So I want to show you what is happening with the ZIG on the official market. So I like to show you graphs. And what I'm showing you here is what the ZIG has been doing between April and now, which is July. So between April and July, the ZIG has been making what we call higher highs and higher lows. And when we talk of higher highs and higher lows, we are talking of a current that is collapsing. So you can see that there was a sharp collapse here in June, sorry, in May. And then they manipulated, it gained strength, and then now it started making higher highs and higher lows. And then when it breaks that 13.8, you're going to see a parabolic collapse. That is because already they've taken liquidity here on 13.7. That is how the banks operate. They manipulate, but this current manipulation is by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. They are creating what is called fake ZIG, which I've been telling you about since the beginning of the time when they created the ZIG. And what you're going to see with the ZIG is something that you've never seen before. The banking sector of Zimbabwe is basically a Ponzi scheme. There's a Ponzi scheme. There's no one making money in the banking sector of Zimbabwe. Let me show you how bad this situation is. Maybe most of you don't know. Zimbabwe has got the largest number of banks, banks and financial institutions. So we're talking here of over 30 financial institutions. Banks, financial institutions, microfinance institutions, insolvent banks like Empower Bank, Women's Bank, those are insolvent banks. It's a mishmash. And the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is failing to do much because some of these banks are politically connected. So as we watch, a lot is happening in the banking sector. But if you're an employee in the banking sector, you should know that your job is not secure. There's no money moving around in the banking sector of Zimbabwe. So this is very key. We're going to be watching this very, very closely as it happens. Let me quickly look at other things that have been trending here over the past week. And then we can bring this to an end. So one of the biggest trending stories in Bulawayo has been the female police units. So if you go to all the press in Bulawayo, there's a new detective unit here called Lozi K. That is what was trending. Almost every newspaper is carrying the story. It shows a group of females that have been running a detective unit, doing very well and arresting quite a number of people. And I want to see who is the leader of this group. There's quite a number of stories about this detective unit in Bulawayo, led by females. It's an all-female police unit. So if you want to make a movie, you'll probably be able to make a movie about it. Let me put myself at the center. So this is something quite interesting. A female unit, armed and able to arrest and making quite a lot of waves in Zimbabwe this week. And then obviously we have this story here, which is very sad. Let me take you through a story of WiseWave. WiseWave is a company that is based in Gweru and Harare, and they have been defrauding hundreds of Zimbabweans of money through a Poland scheme. So they were initially giving visas to Poland, and many Zimbabweans have paid $500. Approximately $100,000 has been lost after this company called WiseWave has been unable to provide visas. Initially, they were able to provide student visas. Then they went into immigration and employment visas. However, after they failed to get the visas for Zimbabweans, they created 20 fake visas. And I think the Polish embassy has banned them from dealing with them, which has resulted in them disappearing from their offices in Gweru and in Harare. So WiseWave, an immigration company based in Gweru and Harare, has disappeared after duping Zimbabweans of over $100,000. I don't know who these people are. These are the people that are linked to this story. If you go to this story on on Gambakwe, you'll see that this is the story that is, these are the people that are linked to the story. So let me redo that. These are the people that are linked to WiseWave. WiseWave is an immigration company that has been providing visas to Poland, student visas and employee visas. They claim that they could do visas for you. You'll be able to get employment in Poland, but they've disappeared after taking $100,000 from Zimbabweans, and they created 20 fake visas, which they gave to Zimbabweans, and they are saying they will refund all this money. So these are the pictures that I've seen linked to this story, and I do not know if these are the actual people who own or run the company, but this is what has been put out there, that this company, WiseWave, is now on the run. The people who are connected to this company is on the run. So normally, if you want to go to a country like Poland or Czech Republic, or all those companies, it's better to just do it yourself. Those countries are very easy. You don't even have to struggle. They're easy to go to. And my understanding is that the actual cost of living in those countries is quite low. The European countries, some of the smaller European countries, but I don't know about getting work, if it's possible to get work there. So I don't know, Zimbabweans just go everywhere. They go to any country that they can find. And this is what ends up happening. But $500 is quite a small amount of money. People have lost thousands in schemes in the UK. Many people in the UK, I think they're paying £5,000 and so forth to get into the UK. Then what else do I have? I want to look at the promotion being run by Air Zimbabwe. So Air Zimbabwe is running a promotion for the Johannesburg to Harare route. So let me look at how much that costs. There is a massive promotion, I think in their own terms, for $250. So let me show it to you, and I'm going to upload it to Gambakwe here. So just give me a second to display the promotion. So the promotion is $250. That is Air Zimbabwe between Johannesburg and Harare. So that is $250. However, there's currently a promotion being run by Fly SFA for $50. So that's for $100 between Cape Town and Harare. So if you want to fly between Cape Town and Harare, there's a flight which will take you for $100. So I don't know if this is the return, but it's very cheap to fly between Harare and Cape Town and Harare and Johannesburg. If I'm traveling to Zambia, a one-way trip direct from Cape Town to Zambia or Lusaka is 9,000 rands, which is almost $400, just one way. And if you are going through Johannesburg, it will probably cost you $400 return. So it's the flights are quite cheap, and it's easier to travel between Harare and Zimbabwe now. So that is one special that you can find. Air Zimbabwe is back. They're busy with all these specials. Then I want to look at South Africa. There's a trending story in South Africa, and this is to do with a fake internet account. So the South African president is being accused of running a fake account, or an account that exposes government ministers. So this is Gulam Muhammad Suleiman Vadwa, 49. He's being accused of using an account called Gulam V to discredit journalists, government officials, entrepreneurs, and politicians. And one of the government ministers, Lindwe Sisulu, has claimed that this account is being run from the office of President Ramaphosa. And Gulam, if you go to the account called Gulam, says he has left South Africa for his own safety, and he's going to start publishing again. So this is actually being claimed to be a government account run by the South African government to discredit opponents of President Cyril Ramaphosa. However, the government of President Cyril Ramaphosa has rejected this, and they've said they are not connected to this account at all. And then I want to look at some bizarre entertainment story. Let's look at a bizarre entertainment story. In Mutare, in Dangamvura, if you go to the Manica Post, you see that they are twins who are dating one woman. So Tendai Sibanda and Tendeka Isibanda are dating the same woman, Nyaradzo Muyambo. That is the strangest story of this week. On the right is Tendeka Isibanda, who was previously based in South Africa. He went back to Zimbabwe and started to stay with young brother or twin brother, Tendai Sibanda. And he started dating the wife of Tendai Sibanda. And then they moved out together. Last week, Tendai Sibanda was arrested after beating up his wife, Nyaradzo Muyambo. And the police obviously dealt with the issue, but Nyaradzo came back with some bouncers and took back all the stuff that she has bought for Tendai Sibanda. So that we can check out in the on the Manica Post newspaper. Then in terms of appointments, Pasmo Nyakureba is the new Blood Services Zimbabwe, National Blood Transfusion Services Zimbabwe chairman. So I guess that is the trending news we had for today. And I'm going to end it here. Let me give you a recap of what we started with so that you can understand the most important stories. There are two most important stories for today. And then tonight we'll come back and talk about the political news. So we started with the story of Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknell Chivayo has been granted an ISP license. So IMC Communications is now officially an ISP. They've paid 575,000 POTRAZ, US dollars to POTRAZ, to be able to operate as an ISP. And you're going to start seeing the process of Starlink being operational in Zimbabwe very, very soon. So this is very strange because they were granted the license when they were not an ISP. So Wicknell Chivayo is going to make a lot of money. And all the stories that you're seeing, they're distractions. The real story is that Wicknell Chivayo is set to make millions and millions a month from this license with Starlink. And Mnangagwa is the godfather behind the license. Then we said the banking sector in Zimbabwe is facing collapse due to low transactions. And currently, as we speak, Steward Bank is going to be retrenching staff. And also Ecocash has been bought by Econet, which means Econet Holdings, Ecocash Holdings only have Steward Bank as the asset remaining. So a lot of massive developments are going to take place in the banking sector because of the ZIG. The ZIG is doing what it's supposed to do, which is to crash. And it's going to crash very soon. You cannot see the ZIG, the physical ZIG, because they are creating what we call fake ZIG. Right now, all the ZIG that you're seeing, which is not physical ZIG, is fake ZIG. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe doesn't know how much is circulating. The banks are banning. Banning means they create an account, they put money in it, they exchange for US dollars, then they delete the account, you never see it again. That is why the banking sector in Zimbabwe is a Ponzi scheme. So that is where we are currently with all the news. I've given you a summary of all the news which is there today. Now, let me look and see if the newspapers have published. So let's see if any of the newspapers have published today. If they've not published, I'll give you whatever stories that come out later today or during the day if there's anything interesting. So the Herald Zimbabwe is not published. The Chronicle Zimbabwe is not published. Chronicle Zimbabwe. Okay, the Chronicle Zimbabwe has not published. And let's see if Newsday Zimbabwe has published. So Newsday Zimbabwe is normally the fastest newspaper to publish. The Newsday Zimbabwe today is publishing what we call a weekender. They say cornered thief plunges into river after being cornered. That is the story that they have. They've got weekend stories, and I don't see much here that is of interest. They're also featuring the Lozike police unit, which I was talking about here. Lozike is a female, an all-female police detective unit in Bulawayo. And they are saying Torerai Moyo is my minister of the year. I do not know who Torerai Moyo is. Then in sports, they're saying Magaya is going on a spending spree. So that is the stories in the Newsday newspaper. So you can go and check out all these newspapers. You'll be able to see all their stories over there. And then on Zim Live, which is the CIO newspaper, They are saying 2 armed robbers, suspects, all to court. Zimbabwe deposed 3 Chinese nationals filmed torturing mine workers. So basically, they don't have anything big here. Ichilema boycotts World Wildlife Summit with Mnangagwa. So those are the stories in Zim Live newspaper. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back in the evening with an update. These are the stories that we have for today, and if anything comes up, I'll be able to give you those stories. So thank you very much to all the guys who are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and a good day to you all.